Hi everyone, my name is Angela from Angela Stitches and welcome back to my channel. So my goal for this week is to finish this project. This is called Opalescent Heart by the Sweetheart Tree. And so last night I just did the inner border and that's all I did. And then I think I'm going to try and finish the back stitching inside the square by tonight and do the specialty stitches and the beading tomorrow. And I still need to find beads for this project. Because I'm just going to use what I have instead of getting the called for materials. So yeah, that's all I worked on yesterday, and I got a lot of ideas after reading your comments, and most of you agreed that the second color wasn't adding anything to the letters, and someone said what if I backstitched the letters, and that made me think I can actually change the second color and make it more visible. So I think that's what I'm going to try and do, because I do really like having the letters a three-dimensional look by giving a little shading with the second color. So yeah, I really like this, what it looks like in the picture. So I'm going to rip this out and try a darker color. Probably something that's already called for in this project, so it's cohesive throughout. But yeah, so I'm gonna try that and see if that works out. But if that doesn't work out, I'll just leave it the way it is with the one color. But yeah, so thank you so much for your comments and helping me out with this project. So it's Friday morning, and I think my next new Mirabilia start is going to be between Garden Prelude and the Kiss, and then maybe the Queen of Peace. This is very close, but I think it's probably going to be the Kiss. The Kiss and Garden Prelude has the same amount of votes so far, but I think people like this one more this time. So I'm going to wait and check tomorrow morning and see if there's more comments, but yeah, so for fabric, if I start the Kiss, I'm just going to use what I have because it's pretty much a full coverage piece. So I'm just going to use a solid pinkish fabric if I have one. And if I start Garden Prelude, I'm going to dye my own fabric, and I already have an idea for how I want the fabric to be. And then if I start, I don't think I will, but if I do start Queen of Peace, I don't know, I actually haven't thought about it because I think it'll be between these two. So I ended up finishing all of the stitches, the back stitching and the cross stitches and the specialty stuff last night on this. So all I need to do now is the beading. So I'm going to choose what I want to do for the beads, and it calls for 5 different things, and I don't have any of these, but I have things that are kind of similar. So I'm just going to go through my stash and see what I have and do a conversion. So I think I'm going to finish this tonight. And I wrote down all of your votes for the new Mirabilia start, and this morning there was one more comment for Garden Prelude, so I think it's going to be Garden Prelude. So this month on the 10th I'm going to start Garden Prelude, and like I said yesterday, I'm going to dye my own fabric. So I have a piece of 40 count. So this is going to be my fabric, and then I don't have any of the Karen water lilies yet, so I'm going to get those at some point. And someone asked me what I do for the beads when I stitch on 40 count, because these are charted for a 32 count fabric and these are probably too big to stitch on a 40 count. So all I do is just get the smaller version of these beads. I just look up the numbers online and get the number of the smaller ones, and then I don't need to convert these, maybe the Krennic to a thinner one or to a petite treasure braid, but yeah, so my idea for the fabric is to hand dye, and I'm pretty much going to do the same thing as what I did for my Rose of Sharon. So this I just coffee and tea dyed, so that's going to be the base. And then I'm not going to stitch this background, the flower and the architecture around it. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to give an effect on the fabric. And I want to do something like this one. And this is a Picture This Plus fabric called Heroic. It's one of my favorites. And it has like this splashes of color. And I really like this. And I want to recreate this for Garden Prelude. But the problem is that I don't know how to do this. So I'm just going to have to do some experiments and hope that I can make a fabric like this. And I want the colors to be just in this like middle section going across instead of the flowers. So the colors are going to be concentrated in this area, and I don't want it to be too overwhelming. So for the splashes of colors, I want like purples and maybe pinks. Maybe I'll do exactly like this one, but a little less intense. That's the plan, but I don't know. I don't know how to execute this properly, so it might not even work. But I'm just going to try. So I'm going to start beading now, and I have some of the beads, and I think I'm going to use this for one of the beads, and this is a AB Swarovski crystal beads, and it calls for something similar to this one, so I think I'm going to use this one, and then I'm going to choose the rest from this here, and I also have another bag over there with more beads that I received from a subscriber, so I'm going to go through that as well and yeah, see if I could finish this tonight. So this is what the fabric looks like, and I'm actually really happy with how this turned out, but I don't think the true colors are showing up on my phone. So I'll try to add another video here so you can see what it really looks like. So I added these pink and blues. Originally I wanted purples, but I couldn't get the dye concentrated enough to show up on the fabric because of the base color, because it turned out really dark. And I did the base color first before adding these colors, and I also made the purple with two different dyes that I had, so it wasn't dark enough to show up on the fabric, but I just added colors in those sections with a spoon. I think I might have had a video doing that and testing the colors, but yeah, so I did the base color first and then added the colors later, and I ended up matching the fabric color to the picture. So I did something a little different than my original plan. At first I wanted the background to be exactly like Rose of Sharon. So this is just coffee and tea dyed, but I added a couple of drops of the teal color into the coffee and tea, and it made this like pale olive color, which is a perfect match to the color in the picture. And I was also looking at the chart again and saw that the beads and the specialty stuff is only on the background, so for these flowers. And I'm not doing these, so that's why I added the colors onto the fabric. But yeah, so I don't need to get any more materials for this project. I just need to pull out all of the DMCs to get this up, and then this is all ready to start. So I'm going to start this on the 10th, and so I have a couple more days to get this up with the DMCs and a couple more days to work on Rose of Sharon, which I haven't worked on for a week now, so I'm going to work on that until I start Garden Prelude. And then I have a finish. So I finished Opalescent Heart last night, and I ended up not using this AB crystals because you couldn't really see it because it was transparent and it was getting lost into the fabric. So instead I had these moonstones. There's another glass beads in there, but I used the moonstone for the corners. And then for the tiny white ones, it's called for a vanilla color, but I just used this instead. And then for the green, I used this transparent foresty green color, and this is the number 03055. And in case you wanted to know what the white ones are, it's 40479. And for the darker color, it called for a dark green, I think, but I used this dark brown instead, so 40065. So yeah, I'm going to finish this into an ornament, but when I have like 3 finishes, so I can work on them all together at the same time. And then I also worked on the knitting angel. I didn't work on the angel, but I finished the 2 socks and the glove, and it's super cute. I did mess up and couldn't add a bead here onto this sock here, but that's okay. It doesn't really bother me, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. But these are gonna go onto the hanger that she's holding, also with the basket. So here's the basket. And someone commented about my lamb, and I totally didn't notice that in the chart, so thank you for letting me know. So I went back and backstitched her mouth and nose. So super cute. And then before I worked on this, I actually worked on Bliss. So with this one, I ripped out the second color that I had and tried it with another darker color so that it's more visible. But I didn't like that either, so I'm just going to stitch it with this one color. And yeah, but I finished the specialty stitches below, and that was really fun to work on. It was really quick too. And then I started the other half of the quote. So I'm going to work on this and finish the quote tonight, and then I'm going to put this away for now and pull out Rose Quaker. But I really like this project, so I'm going to maybe work on this again in April. So I started working on Rose of Sharon again, and I'm going to work on this until the 10th and put it away because I'm going to start Garden Prelude. And I want to have one Mira in my rotation. I think 2 was a little too much. So yeah, I want to make as much progress until I start Garden Prelude. So I worked on a little bit more on the dress, just here and there, just filling in the parts that I skipped. And I don't know if I want to work on the dress more or the things around it, like the plants. Or I might even work on the skin maybe. I'm not going to do 1/1 skin though because I'm already stitching this on a 40 count. So I don't think that's necessary, but yeah, maybe I will move up and work on the skin and her face and hair. I think that might be fun to do before I put this away. So yeah, I'm going to work on this again tonight. And I finished the quote last night, so it looks like I'm about halfway through this project. I'm like right in the middle, and I'm really happy with my progress. So yeah, I think I will work on this again in April and get to the next row, which are these specialty stitches with a butterfly in the middle, and I think that's really pretty. So yeah, now that I got that finished to where I wanted it to, I'm going to work on Rose Quaker, and I think I'll just work on these 2 motifs here. Earlier this month, or last month, I was planning on stitching one of the main ones that says Token of Love, but if I want to work on that, I need to count a little more than I want to, so I can work on this one instead, which is also one of my favorite, but I think I want to go in order and work on these 2 first before going ahead, because I think those 2 empty spaces might drive me nuts until I get to those. So I think I'll start with one of those tonight, and I'm stitching this 2/1 half stitch, so it shouldn't take too long. But yeah, I think this motif is really pretty, so if this doesn't take too long, maybe I'll get to those as well. I also worked on the knitting angel, and I was working on this I guess embroidery pattern on her dress, and I ran out of this color, but I think I might have another bobbin of this color somewhere, so I'm going to look for that and finish that pattern first and then work on filling in the dress. So yeah, that's all I did on the knitting angel, but I also worked on my sweater, and I think, I don't know if I already said this in this video, but I'm going to have all of the knitting stuff into another video and make that separate. So if you want to see my knitting progress, that'll be in another video. I'll name those as knitting vlogs so that you know it's about knitting. So if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. But yeah, my mom and we're just knitting almost every day, and she's doing really well, and I'm having a lot of fun, so it's really good. So but yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about. So this is going to be the end of this video. I hope you like this one too. I think I worked on a lot of projects this week, and I think there might be a lot of food in this one too. I got this very cheap waffle maker. It's not even a maker, it's just a mold. And I'm just making waffles with it, with the pancake batter that I always make. And it's been really good. So yeah, so next week I'm going to start a new Mirabilia, which I'm super excited about. So I'm going to get that up with the DMCs and make my floss cards. So you see that. And then I'm also going to work on Rose Quaker, which I just talked about, and hopefully finish this. I don't know if I'll FFO this, but I want to finish this and move on to the Baking Angel. So yeah, I hope everyone is doing really well. Let me know if you have any questions and I'll answer them in the comment sections. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!